AAF is relying on Sneaky Big, which is in Scottsdale, Arizona, to remotely produce a lot of their games, and they have a virtual studio there that's powered by Brainstorm. It's a really cool look if you're into virtual studios. So let's play a clip, give you guys an idea of what it's going to look like, and then Ben Grafchik from Sneaky Big is going to give you some more details.
I'm down, Benjamin.
Thankfully, the audio worked there. So, before I get started, I want to give a big shout out to the Brainstorm crew, Danny Correjon, Brad Rumbler, David Moldez. Before we even got this concept off the ground, I called them up and I tried to do something with them in the future. And they're like, "Oh my God, this guy again! Like, what is he trying to do?" And so I said, "Guys, for real, I have a project here that I need some help. We're literally on the air in 2 months." Have no idea what they want to do for the virtual set because everyone is currently working in an NFL game, either CBS, NBC, or Fox. So let's build something and hope that it works. And surprisingly, it did all right. So before we kind of get deeper into this whole thing, I kind of want to go through some of the desired functionality that we were looking for in a virtual set partner in Brainstorm. So Sneaky Big, located in Scottsdale, Arizona. I've got a 4,000 square foot main stage. Convincing the powers that be to green screen the whole thing was rather difficult. However, absolutely, totally worth it in that regard. We have a purpose-built 4-talent desk that was done in LA. That is the only real thing in our virtual set environment. Using a bunch of different Brainstorm products, mainly Infinity Suite. Aston, the 3D VR authoring tool, is going to start hitting the air here in week 5 and 6. Obviously, we're using eStudio as another render element, but the big thing here is the plugins associated with Unreal, and I know we're going to talk a lot about that today amongst the various panels, but that helps take this to the next level and convince the powers that be that this is an investment worth making. We have 4 cameras, Sony F55 heads that are outfitted with Stipe's Red Spy IR tracking system. We've got 3 of them that are physically on PEDs, and then 1 jib. So the beauty of the IR tracking system allows for us to pretty much utilize any move. The uptime is amazing. I think we're up in like 15 seconds. Tracking is very, very robust. And obviously the Brainstorm system could ingest the Stipe protocol very nicely. So the calibration setup was very, very easy. Then the hard part came with actually designing the system. We're using a separate truck, PSSI's K34, to actually serve as the control room for this. It's done a very good job, but it's kind of a Band-Aid over an open wound, so that's something for us to fix and remedy for next year. And then one thing here that I want to mention, the Ultimat keying system. I don't know how many of you all have experience with that. I do not come from the motion picture world, so when people talk about keying stuff for Avatar, I just assumed that somebody was really, really good at their job. Turns out that a lot of them are using this Ultimat system. I had no idea what it was, how to use it. So if you look at our set from week 1 to week 2, it completely changed the game for us. So a very, very powerful tool that really helped make this photorealistic set seem as real as it is. Why Infinity Set? So I'm going to do a lot of kind of show and tell here because it's a very visual presentation. You guys don't want to hear me talk. You want to see the set itself. The best thing about Infinity Set is flexibility. So essentially, we started this season with a rehearsal weekend in San Antonio the end of January, the week before the Super Bowl. So we had to get 4 games done, studio shows faxed out, 1,000 different people telling you 10 million different things. For us to make the change from the rehearsal weekend to week 1 to week 2 to satisfy all the idiosyncrasies associated with their requests really was the driving factor behind Brainstorm. And I want to tell you all that from the bottom of my heart. When you have so many different people telling you so many different things and it needs to be done in 10 minutes, you really kind of push your system to the limit. And so having very talented authors and a very powerful tool really allowed for us to be flexible. This absolutely fit our workflow. The system was essentially designed for us to cut cams like a normal show and feel like we're actually doing a studio show and not feeling like this, the taboo associated with a green screen show where it feels fake, it doesn't feel real. So getting talent to buy into this, and you'll see from the video, we've got a lot of people from NFL Network. They're used to working on physical stages. So the first time they walked into our studio and saw nothing but a desk and green screen, it was kind of a, oh man, what did I sign myself up for? The good thing is they all have bought into the concept. They love it. I think it's something that they're going to champion going forward. But it was the system, the platform, the suite of products was absolutely perfect for our workflow. Another thing that was very, very impressive, customer support. Obviously, Brainstorm is located in Spain. I had 5 or 6 different people flying to Phoenix from Spain to make this work. I feel like that's a pretty big ask, but again, they understood the magnitude associated with this project, and we're absolutely there the entire way. So without a doubt, their customer support really put us over the edge. The evolution of the platform, as the market kind of adjusts itself and things start to become unreal in their nature, no pun intended, that the system itself and the way in which the Brainstorm team is staying on top of the market and the trends is something that's also very encouraging, because as soon as something new comes out, I hear it from their developers saying, we just implemented this new technology, this is how we think it could work, we've updated your system, do you want to go live this weekend? I love that stuff. So it's absolutely pushing the envelope and something that we really, really want to strive for, at least at Sneaky Big, and especially for the AAF. As we kind of talk about green screens and virtual sets, one thing that I think is kind of lost in all of this is how you capture the magic of virtual. So, one of the things that really makes the virtual environment so much more powerful than the real environment is I can control a virtual camera. So on my opens, I can have virtual camera moves that you could not get outside of a Skycam or a drone or a 40-foot jib arm. So I can actually start from inside a tunnel, come out to a reveal, and then do another virtual camera move. So, when we went through this process, it was not only how do we do something that looks very clean on a green screen, but how do we take advantage of the virtual compositing engine itself? So is it AR elements, virtual camera moves, advanced storytelling? Those are all things that absolutely contributed to our decision to move forward with Brainstorm. One thing that is also very powerful and something we didn't realize we had until week 1 was our ability to kind of garbage mat the entire virtual screen. So as you saw before, we've got a pretty large green screen itself. However, with a jib, we're looking to try and take advantage of the multiple moves that are available to us. Obviously, we didn't paint our entire studio green. That would have been a lot of fun. But with that, it was how do we come up with clever executions, because we have a very large virtual set. We want to show it off. So we'll have some openings where the jib will start actually facing the back of our studio, and it will key the way that it's supposed to, and then it will come back around to reveal talent, all without having to worry about any additional green screen technology. So the garbage matting feature for Brainstorm was something that was absolutely crucial to our success and allows for us to make our studio look way bigger than it is. As it relates to processing power, the highest level of NVIDIA graphics cards imaginable, always on the highest level of firmware. The machines run like a champ. We keep them up all the time. There's been a couple hiccups, but I think once we figured out the right firmware, we're in a good space. Calibration and uptime, within 10, 15 seconds of coming in the studio, firing these things up, we're tracking, ready to go. There's no remeasuring, there's no adjusting of center or origin and any of that. We know exactly where we are all the time in space. And that was something that's huge for us, because we'd have to light the studio up on a Tuesday or Wednesday to make changes for that weekend. And as opposed to bringing in 20, 30 people to get it going, 2 or 3 of us could sit there and do it. It was very, very impressive. And the compositing and key, one thing that I really enjoyed about the Brainstorm system was their ability to merge the keys, especially as it relates to the ultimate keying system. So a very advanced keyer, especially on those tight shots, the single shots, the double shots. When you get in that tight, you can kind of see what makes a green screen, but the defocused backdrop really gave the feeling of being really there. So this is a picture of one of our control rooms as it relates to the virtual set. 4 cameras in. We've got a Duet that's running the CBS package, EVS playout device, everything that you would see normally in a studio show. Again, kind of retrofitted into a virtual environment. Here's the workflow diagram. I'm not going to lie, it's a little intense, a little over my head, but I think the purpose of this is to show you that from one main controller system, we can control, I think an unlimited number of render machines. So not only does that become valuable for the production workflow, I can have one person running multiple cameras and then actually executing different virtual elements on those different render machines themselves. So as we look to scale down and become efficient as a remote production facility, to have one person essentially controlling up to 8 different renders in their unique processing power is something that, again, was very, very attractive to us. Here's the shot from the controller system of us working on the key, kind of give you a little lift of the kimono and show you behind things. But again, a very, very powerful processing tool. We were up and running, from concept of design to execution in a month and a half. Our internal graphics design team worked with the Brainstorm team to come up with the concept and how we want to execute it. And again, to do that on such a quick turnaround with a high level of production quality. Again, at the end of the day, we're going out on NFL Network, CBS Sports Network, Turner. We can't look like it's a green screen in your basement. It has to look like a real set. I had two very dear friends visit me over the weekend in Phoenix to come in to check out how we were handling week 4. And the first question I got from them was, "Where's the set? How much are you spending on it?" And I turned around and said, "Obviously it's just green, so I don't know what you're paying for sets, but mine's a pretty fixed cost." To be able to get those individuals of high power to say, "Wow, it looks real," is the ultimate validation in the world that we're living in. Again, another shot of the Brainstorm system as it relates to the entire Ultimat keying system workflow. Again, the Ultimat, it was like speaking Chinese to me the first time I saw it. I'm on YouTube trying to look up videos. No success. The good thing about being in Phoenix is we're a 45-minute flight from LA, and there was a highly sophisticated Ultimat operator, very expensive, that lived in LA, and I called him on Friday and I said, I bought you a ticket 10 minutes ago. I'm not getting off the phone with you until you tell me that you're going to get on a flight in LAX to come here. He told me he was going to do his taxes this weekend, and I said, I'll make it worth your time. Get here, make a difference. And having him there absolutely changed the way that our set was interpreted and exactly how we wanted it to look when we first started this process. Here kind of is a side-by-side, almost a quad split, if you will, of Alex as it relates to keying her out. Tyler, if you look at the bottom left graphic here, is our stage manager and worked tirelessly with our team to make sure that everything worked perfectly. So this is, again, a kind of a behind-the-scenes example of how we got to where we are. That's it. It's a grainy picture. I'm sorry, I took a video from afar away. They were actually on air there, but you can imagine, Rod Woodson, Terrell Davis, Alex Flanagan, Cynthia Freeland, Marvin Lewis. I mean, these guys are used to doing things in a real environment. So when they came out here and we said, "All right, guys, I need you to put some booties on so you don't scuff the green floor," they all looked at us like we're crazy. Not only do you need me to do that, but you want me to sit down here and pretend like I'm actually on a real stage. It took a little bit for them to get used to it, but it's been a great experience thus far. Just a couple other shots, with the ISO shot and the defocus background, gives us that super photorealistic feel that we all look to and hope to strive to when it comes to virtual sets. Again, another wide shot. So imagine, if you will, that as you saw on the previous slide, our desk is here, but our studio looks like this. So many moves, reveals, utilizing the different elements of the virtual set. The Alliance of American Football screen on the left will do Cynthia Freeland's top 5 quarterbacks, whatever it may be. We can actually teleport her to that spot, so we don't really need to frame the shot any differently. And then same on the right, we've got additional monitors. We actually built it this way so that we could take advantage of augmented reality once we start to understand some of the storylines associated with this league. Hardest part is, the NFL, there's plenty of years of history on a lot of these players. With the AAF, we really only have some college, some training camp stuff, and we had to go live. So we're constantly evolving the virtual set to highlight the storylines that we identify throughout the season. So it's been an evolving process, but the thing is, I think we're really going to open it up as it relates to the playoffs and the championship game. Another tight shot. All of these monitors are routable sources. Again, as we start to kind of figure out how the workflow it comes together for this show, We've given a lot of flexibility and control to the production team. So however they want to route sources, graphics, video, whatever it may be, the entire virtual set is their playground. And again, when you have a lot of cooks in the kitchen, there are a lot of thoughts on how things should be done, and having the flexibility of the Brainstorm system really allows us to satisfy all of them. That's my presentation. I tried to get back on time.